Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and I don't talk enough about MGTOWs on the channel, right? I don't talk enough about men who are going their own way, men who are sick and tired of the dating scene. They have no desire to join into a monogamous relationship, and they'd rather just pay for sex or get a sex bot and just live their lives on one income and not having to worry about crap. You know what though? And the thing is, there are times where you can go look at their idea and go, yeah, that looks pretty good. That's not a bad idea. And then you kind of come back down to earth. At least that's how I view it. It's like, I've got a girlfriend and a daughter. I love them both dearly. I'm happy where things are. I couldn't imagine living alone. I just don't think I would like it. But other people out there are totally different, and I'm not mocking you guys at all. However, this story is a little interesting because I came across it on wehuntedthemammoth.com, which is it's an anti-MRA website, but the story itself is compelling enough. I just kind of want to talk about it because it's a MGTOW who thinks sex bots are bad for men. Now, take a look here at the right of the screen. We Hunted the Mammoth tracks and mocks the white male rage underlying the rise of Trump and Trumpism. This blog is not a safe space given the subject matter, misogyny, and hate. There is no really way it could be. So it's done by a guy named David Futrelle. Futrelle is a jackass of epic proportions, and he, refuses in any way to understand that MRAs are not sexist, bigoted men entirely. He very much runs a one-sided, slanted male feminist blog. And as we've learned from male feminism, one day Me Too will come for him, and I don't think it will be kind. I don't think it will be kind at all. That's just the way it is at these points. At this point, any notable popular male feminist, you're waiting for that other shoe to drop. And I know on a few people's rosters, Futrelle is high up there for that to happen. Not saying I hope he's done anything bad. I don't want him to ever have hurt anyone or done anything. I just want to make that abundantly clear. But I know people that are like waiting for that to come down the pipeline, and they are betting heavily on it. Now, it says here that members of the He-Man Woman Haters Club, known as Men Going Their Own Way, like many of their manosphere pals, love to fantasize about what they see as the imminent arrival of realistic, affordable sex bots, so sophisticated they can be barely distinguishable from real-life sexy human ladies. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people out there are actually kind of looking forward to this. Not just men, but women as well. Women who want realistic men dolls to look like that too. It's not just one sex that's wanting to have a good time with the robotic otherkin sort of thing. It has everything to do with people that are just have trouble with with connecting with one another, but still have sexual fantasies and desires, because that's a normal part of everyday life. That's a normal part of being a human, is to have a sex drive. I don't think Futrelle's got one, to be honest with you. I really don't. Now, it says MGTOWs are obsessed with the robot sex ladies, not just because they want to fuck them, but also because they think that easy availability of robot sex will destroy the so-called sexual market value of real-life women, making them so desperate for men that they'll put up with almost anything. Some MGTOWs have convinced themselves that sex bots will ultimately make women obsolete, at least if scientists can also develop artificial wombs that can handle the whole baby-making thing. Here's the thing with MGTOWs, though. MGTOWs don't care about children. So it's not like, again, I think that's kind of a dumb argument to make. It's like, oh, they make women obsolete till they can artificially create wombs. You do know they have that, right? You know they have that. There's been ads on Facebook for it. I don't know how far out close it is to completion, but there's like this in-home uterus that like you can like put your embryo in, and it will slow roast the baby for 9 months. You can watch it grow. Like, there's been ads like it's the prototypes exist. It's coming, David. It's coming. You probably aren't in any capacity, but that's coming. And so, it could be like it could remove that could have some grander impacts on life rather than having sex bots. But anyway, It says, but not all the MGTOWs dream of electric ladies. Over on MGTOW.com forums, they recently discovered one lady hater, a fellow calling himself Thorndike, who thinks sex bots will be worse for men, saying, I'm going to go on a lunatic bend here. He suggests that sex robots are actually going to be the problem rather than the solution. In the short run, they might serve some purpose to provide sexual satisfaction to sexually frustrated men. However, similar to porn, they will, in the long run, cause a man to miss the real thing. Porn doesn't kill the male desire for women in flesh, but it fires up the neurons that do not know where the stimulation is coming from. In order to truly escape the matrix, a man has to conquer his sexual desire. Without such, he is subject to the gynocentric pull. He might resist the pull, but it will always try to enslave him. So this is kind of like a MGTOW that's like, the tinfoil hat type guy. But I don't think he's entirely wrong. I don't think sex robots are going to replace people actually having sex. I don't think so. I think it's going to do a lot to help people understand sex. I think that's one of the biggest problems with our society and our culture is that we are very much based upon puritanical upbringing, puritanical roots, right? We very much prude in how we view sex. I mean, look at Tumblr. They're outlawing female presenting nipples. You know what I mean? Like we put such a taboo on the human body that it causes mass confusion. And it's not just that like men want to get laid and are not getting laid and it causes them to get angry. There's so many weird rituals involving dating nowadays that like you ask anyone in a long-term relationship and they'll be like, I don't ever want to go back to dating ever again. It is just, it's just so terrible because it is a terrible thing. That might cause people to cohabitate that don't fully like each other in that way, but they go, that's better than the alternative. It's the whole Catholic wedding thing, right? But no, I feel like it's a societal problem, David. I think it's you're trying to sit there and say, oh, it's gonna destroy, whatever. Thorndike, he's got an interesting point, and I think in some regards he might be onto something. But it's not that it's going to destroy men. It's not going to do that. It's what we need to do is teach that sex isn't bad. That sex is a natural part of life. Not that, rape, none of that crap, because it never is good. Consent is always needed, and it's always necessary, and it's always right. But we need to teach that it's okay to fuck. We do. We need to teach that it's okay. That's okay to go balls deep on a Saturday night. And, as long as the person is of age and consenting and people are taking care of themselves, we need to say that it's okay. Too many people, I think, are caught in this trap of not fucking, right? And it's like, that would just do so much to help people out. And robots are going to they're going to help a little bit with that. They might take a little bit of the taboo away. It's like, how do you, there's a lot of pressure in sex, right? Do you look right? Do you smell right? How does your body odors compare to their body odors? Is it compatible? Do they just repulse you in that regard? But like you're attracted to everything else, but their genitals kind of smell like, Famunda cheese sort of thing. And it's like, just, that's kind of the way it is. People have different odors. There's different things, right? That aren't going to come out of sex bots, but it's like when it comes to the actual act of sex, it might do better in some regards to teach some form of intimacy, and how to handle it versus just completely doing away with it all. I don't know. Look, the argument I'm trying to make ultimately is that, it's really it's probably gonna do for the better. But it requires a societal change to have that discussion that it's okay to get down and dirty, that it's okay to have sex. Right. We don't teach that. We teach abstinence first education to young kids. I'm not saying teach kids to go out and have sex. Obviously, I'm not saying that at all. But I mean, it's like we push the abstinence and the fear behind it so much that I think trying to teach people that sexual or healthy sexual relationships can be a thing becomes problematic because they're seen as taboo and they're seen as different. And if a person is engaged in many partners, they're seen as being not pure. Back to the whole puritanical thing. But there are people out there that disagree. This one guy here says sex bots are the solution. No STDs are customizable. The vaginas can be replaced and then washed out and only you use them. No other guy does. They will never lie. They will never cheat or plot to take half your shit. No kids. No oopsie oopsie pregnancy. They are in fact the solution. They are the final solution to that, sir. For that guy, probably. And again, that dude has a point as well. There are men out there there are women out there too. There are people out there that are fearful of these relationships. They are fearful of having relationships because they're afraid of what bad things might happen because there are bad people out there, right? And oftentimes in our society, we teach that you shouldn't necessarily go on many dates, that when you find someone who likes you and you like them, you kind of belong together, even if you don't maybe always like each other all the time. I think we kind of force people into pairs that may not fully like it. And it's just because they're fearful of being alone. They're fearful of the social stigma of going on many dates, those kind of things. There's a lot of problems in our society when it comes to these kind of relationships, that some people are going to find the alternative in a sex bot. And I think either way, look, if people need to be relaxed and calm, if they can't, let them get their nuts off. Let them not leave their house with a loaded gun. You know what I mean? Right? If I'm going to quote something about Mary, which by the way is 20 years old now, go figure. Anyway, Thorndike here, undaunted, and continues on, throwing porn under the bus alongside hypothetical future sex bots, saying, regarding conquering sex drive, I wholeheartedly believe that the man's testosterone is being displaced from achievements to chasing sex. From sexualized marketing to porn to women dressing in more and more revealing clothing, sex is designed to now generate lust. Moreover, I'm a fervent opponent of any self-aware man simulating his dick to pixels on a screen. I do not have the scientific evidence to back up my statement, but substituting porn instead of real women is harmful for mental health in the long run. Unfortunately, the women can fuck your life up more than porn will, so the lesser of two evils, but evil nonetheless. Oh, Jesus. My conspiracy side states porn is made abundant for the same reasons as sugar, social media, and politics are. It appeals to the lowest common denominator and prevents men from unplugging. I think people just like to whack off, dude. Yeah, I think people just like to whack off. And I don't think that sex bots are going to ruin that. I think it's going to, I think it's going to help people. There are going to be those who take it too far. There are going to be those that fall in love with their sex bots. Those already exist. And there are going to be those who, take it way past where it should be. But at the end of the day, it simply requires that people understand the world around them. And that comes from education. That comes from having discussions. In order to stop the sex bot takeover that's going to destroy humanity, we ultimately need to have more conversations about sex. Positive, fruitful conversations about sex. Not in a lustful capacity, not in a way that comes across like one of those weird teacher and student videos you'll find on Pornhub. Really, we need to do more in that regard. Because look, I'll be honest with you, the MILF stuff on and the family stuff on Pornhub is that's some weird taboo. There's some weird stuff in that, but that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, I feel like just we need to have more of a conversation about it versus attacking one side or the other, to be honest with you. So that being said, I leave it to you. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you think that this is ultimately going to be something that gets solved with conversations, or do you think we should start having the government issue sex bots to every of age man and woman in this country? Let me know down in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been my channel. If you made it this far, type mgtow in the chat so I know. And I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day and peace out.